When you think samurai, you probably picture master swordsmen, ready to duel to the death at a moment's notice. Or a warrior, dressed in intimidating armor, his hand resting on the hilt of a razor-sharp katana. For centuries, this was the reality. But what if I told you that for over 250 years, most samurai never fought in a single battle, and that their primary weapon wasn't the sword, but the pen? This is the story of how a warrior class was reforged entirely, and how that transformation built the Japan we know today. After centuries of bloody civil war, Japan was unified in 1603 under the Tokugawa shogunate, kicking off an unprecedented 250-year period of peace. This stability, however, created a massive and dangerous problem for the new government. What do you do with hundreds of thousands of professional warriors when there are no more wars to fight? An unemployed, heavily armed elite was a recipe for rebellion. The solution was as radical as it was brilliant. To transform them, the shogunate repurposed the entire samurai class, shifting them from a military force into a vast civil administration. They became the state's tax collectors, magistrates, record keepers, and civil servants, managing the day-to-day affairs of the nation. This was more than just a change in occupation. It was a complete cultural transformation. Once, the measure of a samurai was written in the clash of steel and the mastery of combat. Now, the battlefield faded into memory, replaced by new priorities. Education, especially in Neo-Confucian philosophy, took center stage, stressing social order, moral conduct, and personal responsibility. The pen, the law, and the ledger became mightier than the sword. Combat training remained, but it was no longer for survival. It was a ritual, a path to discipline, honor, and the shaping of the spirit. By law, only samurai were permitted to wear the daisho, the pair of long and short swords. But it became less a weapon for daily use and more a badge of office, a visible marker of their elite status. They were warriors in name, but in practice, they had become the bureaucratic backbone of a peaceful nation. For over 2.5 centuries, these warrior bureaucrats ran Japan, creating a sophisticated and well-ordered society. When American gunboats forced Japan to open its ports in the mid-19th century, it set in motion events that ended the feudal system and abolished the samurai class in 1868. But their story was far from over. Without their old privileges and pay, former samurai had to find new roles in a fast-changing Japan. But who better than the samurai to build this new Japan? With generations of experience in governance, high rates of literacy, and a disciplined code of conduct, they were perfectly positioned to lead the charge. They became the educators who built the new national school system, the politicians and diplomats who forged a new constitution, and the visionary industrialists who founded the companies that transformed Japan into a global power. The age of the warrior was over, but the spirit of the samurai, their dedication to discipline, education, and civic duty, was precisely what Japan needed to navigate a changing world. Though their swords have long been sheathed, the samurai still shape Japan. Their legacy lives on in the minds they continue to inspire. Stay in touch for more hidden stories from the past. And thanks for watching.